Hi, class. How are you today? So today we're going to see the topic economic development. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, economic development. So economists use the concept of development to talk about a country's economic well-being. Development is the economic growth or an increase in living standards. So living standards are what defines what kind of life do you have. If you're very comfortable, you have all your goods and needs. For example, if you have a very comfortable home with running water, with your appliances, refrigerator, stove, you have a bathroom, you have bedrooms, those are the living standards. If your living standards are high, you're going to have all these goods and needs that sometimes the poor people absolutely do not have. So measuring economic development. When we study development, we look at factors like people's education, literacy, which is whether people can read or write, life expectancy, which is how many years people live, okay? We also examine their individual purchasing power, which is their ability to buy goods and services. Here on this picture, you can see the life expectancy in different countries. So it's the average years that a people can live, okay? For example, in the United States, the average life expectancy is 79 years old, compared to Japan, where the life expectancy is 84 years old. So that's what we refer to as life expectancy. A developed country is a country with a strong economy and a high standard of living, such as the United States or Japan. That means that most people live very comfortable. They have all their goods and needs. They have health care. They have everything they need for a very comfortable life. But only about 20% of the world's countries are developed. The remaining 80% are what we call developing countries, or countries with less productive economies and lower standards of living, such as Haiti or Ethiopia. And we can see here in the picture what is the living standards. For example, on the left, we have a very poor person that is probably homeless, and we can see the details over here. He's got very old, raggedy clothes. He doesn't have anything to eat. He's got like all his goods and needs he carries in this little cart. And on the right-hand side, we have somebody with a very high standard of living. We can see him very well dressed with a suit. He's got a cell phone. He's got a cart full of groceries. So obviously his standard of living is much, much higher than the man on the left. Economists use what is called the gross domestic product to measure a country's economy. The gross domestic product, or what we refer to as GDP, is the total value of all the goods and services produced in a country in a year. People in developed countries, such as Japan, often work in offices. They mostly have access to education and healthcare. On the other hand, in developing countries such as Guatemala, they have fewer industries, and people often have lower life expectancy rates and literacy rates. So we can see here in the pictures, we can see the picture on the left, which is Japan. This is a picture in Tokyo, and we can see the really high standard of a developed country. We can see buildings, we can see lights, screens, clean streets, fancy cars, and on the right-hand side, we can see a picture of a developing country with very poor housing. They don't have well-paved streets. They probably don't have running water. So that is a big difference between a developed country and a developing country. Increasing development. A country can increase economic development in many ways. It can find more resources to use in creating products. It can invest in capital goods such as factories and equipment. It can improve education and training to increase human capital. So human capital, it's the workers' skills and knowledge. Here we can see the equipment, factories, education and training, and workers' skills, which are going to help a country to develop a more important and high standard of living. Highly skilled workers usually earn higher wages or salaries. Wages are the money paid for work. So a wage is the same thing as a salary. Wages are also affected by supply and demand for workers. If there is a high demand for workers and a limited supply of applicants, companies must pay higher wages to attract workers. On the other hand, if there are fewer jobs and a lot of workers, wages will be lower. Here we can see specialized workers. We have scientists over here, which is a very specialized skill. And we also have construction workers over here, which is also a very specialized kind of skill. So they get paid more because they have specialized skills in their areas of work. A country can improve development by increasing productivity. Productivity is the amount of goods and services produced given the amount of resources used. So a business that increases productivity can produce goods and services more efficiently. More productive workers often earn higher wages. Okay, so the higher the productivity and the more productive workers, they are going to earn higher wages or higher salaries. Now, improved technology can also lead to economic growth. Technology is the practical application of knowledge to accomplish a task. Technological advances can create new products such as computers. They can make it easier for people to communicate and do business. And this happens in developed countries. They have more access to technology because technology is expensive. However, it can be difficult for poor countries to afford new technology. So from this lesson, guys, I want you to take notes from the key ideas, which are that the level of a country's development has effects on the lives of its people. And there are many ways for a country to increase economic development. Also take notes on the key terms development, developed country, developing country, gross domestic product, productivity, and technology. Okay, so you will need these notes to do your homework, and I will see you on our next class. Take care. Bye-bye.